What's up YouTube, Demi here with the next build guide. This is for the updated 3.1 version of Spider Queen, which is just like my ES tank, featuring a lot of new Shaper items. We got Shaper Dagger, Shaper Shield, Shaper Amulet, and Shaper Belt. But I'm gonna do the guide while we just kind of AFK tank Phoenix. Cause like, how better to show that your build can AFK tank things than actually AFK tanking things. I'm trying to get my character to stand nicely. Whatever, either way. The concept of the character is just to have a lot of regen, max block and spell block, and a ton of curse effective stuff. I have Enfeeble, I have Temp Chains. Like, the enemies that hit me are usually pretty slowed. This boss could potentially kill me, maybe, if he gets a good crit off with that explosion, but we'll see. So, yeah, the character is just real tanky. We are a Scion, or an Ascendant. We go for a Cultist because it gives you a bunch of ES, energy shield regen per second, which is really important because that's kind of like life regen, except for it's not. Obviously, it can't be reduced by Frost Bomb. And then we get the allocate passives from the Witch starting point, 2 extra passives, and then we go over to Inquisitor, which is kind of weird. But you get reduced elemental damage taken while on consecrated ground, and if I had the correct glove enchant, that would be all the time, because there's a glove enchant that's called Commandment of Light that triggers whenever you take a crit. And we take a lot of crits because we're using some unique jewels that make us take crits. But the skill tree is effectively just a bunch of ES and life regen. So we go through life regen start, life regen, L equilibrium because we're using all types of elemental spells. It just kind of juggles the enemy resistances and makes them take a lot more damage. ES, jewel sockets, LE overload. This is like one of the very few damage nodes on the tree that we even have because we're not really concerned about damage, but 2 points for 40% more LE damage, sure. Then we go up for more jewel sockets, curses, ES, Zealot's Oath, very important. All of your life regen on the tree will be converted into ES regen, which is really important. Then I have a bit of reduced mana reservation just so I can have my 3 auras active. Some more ES, another jewel socket, even more ES. I'm sorry, even more life regen. Some ES life regen. And guess what? Some max fire res, a jewel socket, some more life regen, some more life regen, some more life regen. And then utilizing our ability to take stuff from the Witch passive starting point, we start up here and take all the Witch ES nodes, go through all of the ES nodes, pick up some Flask effect because flasks are OP, another jewel socket, the melding wheel over here, which we convert to just pure ES using an energy from within. Usually it's ES life. If you use this jewel, it becomes just ES. So that's a ton of extra ES here. And then we go up to get CI because we need that to become immune to chaos damage. One more reservation node, just again to reserve all of our mana, and then another jewel socket, some more life regen stuff, some ES, some spell damage, and then guess what? More ES and another jewel socket. So all the jewels on this character, they are reckless defenses. What does this do for us? It gives us 4% block chance if they're well divined. They're 2 to 4% block per jewel. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't remember if I counted this one. Hang on, let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have 9 total of these, right? So 9 of these is 36% block chance. Combined with your shield, which for me is 33% block chance. That puts us at 69% block without anything else. And then you can also get block chance on a weapon. This puts me at 75 block with my weapon. If you needed a little bit more block, you could put 2% block on your gloves as a suffix. You can get 2% max block on a Shaper Amulet now as a suffix as well. That's another great way to get block. But that allows us to get block cap from our jewels and our shield basically without investing into any of these like not so good block chance nodes, or like stretching the tree all the way down into here to get block, or like way over here to get block. We don't do that. We just slop in a bunch of jewels. The side effect of the jewels is we have an additional chance to receive a critical strike. That can be pretty dangerous because obviously you're going to be taking crits basically all of the time. But there is this handy dandy Pantheon power right here where if you capture Jorish Sky's Edge on Solo Solaris, you take no extra damage from critical strikes if you have taken a critical strike recently. Recently means the last 4 seconds. So for this character, all I have to do is get hit, and I'm basically going to take that crit, which means I'm now immune to critical strike damage for the next 4 seconds, and it just keeps refreshing every time I take a crit, so I don't have to worry about that other than the very first time I take a hit, basically. I also recommend that you get the Shadow of the Vol and Suncolor Asha captures. I haven't done that yet, but you can get all 3 of them at once with your, what are those things even called? Divine Vessels. And then for the last node, I take Soul of Tukulhama. You get up to 8% Fizz mitigation after standing still for 4 seconds, and then you get 2% life regen after standing still for 4 seconds, which is converted into ES regen due to our Zealot's Oath. Another bonus of these Reckless Defenses is it converts 20% of our block chance to spells, which means that we get 75 block and 75 spell block from having all of these jewels. It's pretty good. If you can get one that has a corruption of cannot be silenced, that's great, but since I mainly use this character for AFKing and starting arena or doing stupid bosses that I don't want to do with other characters, you don't really need that. So, this is still happening. He's actually almost dead, I gotta hurry up. Gear. All of your gear is ES gear, basically. We have no uniques, we just get as much ES and intelligence as possible. Every 5 intelligence is 1% maximum ES. So I have ridiculously high ES gloves with int, resists dex, sure, you're gonna need a little bit of dex somewhere. I have a chest piece with a ton of ES and int and resist, great. A helm with a ton of ES, intelligence, and resist. As for the curse, I go for Enfeeble effect here, because it gives us the most survivability for our buck, basically. Glove enchant, as I said earlier, you need Commandment of Light. It is a enchantment that procs when you take a crit. I can't even scroll over that fast. I don't know why it does this. Alright, whatever. It's an enchantment that when you take a crit, it gives you 4% life regen and does a little bit of an AoE melee attack. You just care about the life regen and the Consecrated Ground that it also drops for that Inquisitor bonus right here. That's the main reason. Life regen, Inquisitor bonus. I have not run these through lab yet. I'll be doing that later today. And then boots, same thing. You get as much ES as possible, as much resistance as you can, and then I go for the 2% of life and mana per second regenerated if you were hit recently, which is, again, if we're just standing here taking hits all the time. So now we get into the Shaper items. There's a new prefix for Shaper Amulets that has 10% Ellie penetration. Again, I only have like 2 damage nodes on the tree, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to get some damage on my amulet here. So I got 10% pen here. So all of my random cast when stun, cast when damage taken skills have 20% penetration now, which is cool. And then also on your dagger, which has to be a psi for that 6% block implicit, I can get 10% penetration as a suffix. So everything else is really irrelevant. You can go for spell damage in dex, resist, whatever you're missing, get it. But I went for spell damage, curse duration for some reason, intelligence, and block chance. Just kind of for funsies, it doesn't matter that much. And then on your shield, again, Shaper Shield, there's a suffix that gives you 5% of energy shield when you block, if it's the well-defined roll, right? That translates for me into around 800 ES on block, which is pretty huge when you're taking a ton of successive hits. As you can see, sometimes my ES just jumps up. That's that mod. You can also get a new 8% block chance suffix, you can get spell damage, you can get a lot of good stuff on these. I think the maximum ES now on ES shields is like 360-ish or something. So that plus tier 1 intelligence, tier 1 block chance, and recover energy shield when you block would be the ideal situation for this shield. I have not made it perfectly yet. Obviously my size is not perfect either. I would like T1 int, T1 LE penetration, and like T1 dex maybe, and then spell damage prefixes. And then amulet, I would like flat ES, percent ES, penetration, and then like intelligence, all attributes, max block chance suffix I think would be great. And then my belt, this is a shaped Stygian Vise. It's Shaper because there is an energy shield recovery rate suffix, right? That recovery rate is a multiplier to your overall regen. So if I'm just standing still, without my boot enchant, without glove enchant procced, I'm at 2.4k regen. This belt enchant gives me 1.2 times that, so it would translate into 2.8k regen, so it's extra 400 regen, 20% more multiplier to your regen basically. And I crafted this using essences of intelligence, which I think is of spite, maybe. So it's got tier 1 int and energy shield recovery rate, and then percent ES prefix and flat ES, cold res, whatever. It's great. You just get a ton of extra of ES recovery out of it. It's very, very powerful. As for the jewel itself inside of it, I went for a ES all attributes hinder on hit with spells, which basically gives enemies 30% reduced movement speed. And since we're spamming so many spells, that's basically up all the time. Combine that with our temp chains, 40% slower it's a lot of like they can move, which is good defensively. Yeah, I think that's all of the items. Let's get into the jewel sockets. Actually, I forgot the rings. The rings are just resist ES intelligence, as everything is before. So jewels, your aura setup is discipline, vitality, and then a purity, whichever one you prefer. I'm using the of elements because it just has the coolest MTX and I don't really need the resistances. And then I'm using an enlightened 4 here to make sure that I can actually reserve all of these. And then curse setup, since we are dual curse from the tree, I have a cast when damage taken, temporal shields, enfeeble, and tempest shield. Tempest shield gives you an additional 3% block chance, which doesn't matter to me because I'm missing that 2% max block shaper mod on here. If I had that, it would give me 77% max block with this, which is a huge amount of it's a huge amount of block chance to have, but this also procs every time we block and it deals a fair amount of lightning damage. And then you go into your other spells. Everything else is on cast when stunned, because if you are an energy shield based character, your chance to be stunned is like, it's pretty high, especially if you have 0 stun mitigation. Like I have no immunities, no resists to stun, anything like that, so I just get stunned all the time if anything hits me for like more than say 500 to 1000 damage or so. It'll stun me even if you block it. Cast when stun says you cannot cast triggerable spells directly, but you have a chance to trigger supported spells when you are stunned or block a stunning hit. So if we're just blocking everything and we're getting stunned, that translates into me just casting a bunch of random spells. So I have Freeze Pulse, Magma Orb, Glacial Cascade, Ball Lightning, Molten Shell, and then I have a cast when stunned Vortex Firestorm, and a cast when stunned Arctic Breath Ice Spear Fireball, and a cast when stunned Stormcall Frostbomb. And you can just throw in however many things you want there, whatever spells you like, as long as they're elemental, to make use of our elemental penetration and our L equilibrium and our more elemental damage. You're going to want to use all elemental skills, and you're going to want to alternate them because it'll just cast randomly from the ones that are linked to it. So if you'll notice, I have cold, fire, cold, lightning, fire, and then I have cold, fire paired together with, and then a cold, ice, fire. I don't know why I said cold and ice, you know what I mean. This should probably have a lightning skill linked in it as well. But there's not that many. And then I have a lightning linked with a cold spell. Let's put this Stormcall over here. It doesn't really matter, as long as they're like not all the same. If this was all cold, we would have a problem. Yeah, and then flasks. So your flask mods, remember how we take crits all the time? Well, I have Avengers flask mods across the board, which say recharge 3 charges when you take a critical strike. Well, we always take crits, so even if you're not killing something, you're going to be getting free flash charges all the time, and I have immunities to everything in my flasks. I have immunity to curse, immunity to bleed, immunity to shock, immunity to freeze, and immunity to ignite. So I don't get any ailments, even though I'm taking crits. And with all my flasks up, I'm at 83, 82, 83% max res, along with being on Consecrated Ground for the extra regen, which puts me at 3.4k regen, and then I also get a 20% chance to avoid cold damage when hit. It's just a nice little bonus. You could use a Basalt Flask here, you could use a Granite Flask here. It doesn't matter that much. Even a Stibnite would be cool, actually, as well. Stibnite would give you a lot of blind chance, or it would blind enemies, which gives them reduced accuracy, as well as your Enfeeble reduced accuracy, so like, that'd be pretty good. But yeah, this character is it's just stupidly tanky. That's all I designed it to do. It just tanks things. Your highest damage spell, I think, is your Molten Shell, which does like 5 to 8k damage with 20% pen. It's nothing crazy, but as you saw by the Phoenix run, I mean, we face tanked Phoenix AFK. I didn't use a single potion or anything like that, and I killed him in like a couple minutes. So it's like, if you want to play a character that you can like go to sleep on and wake up and have things dead around you, like that's an option here. But it's not practical for clear speed. If you want to deal more damage, play a different build. But like, this is just a build that I really enjoy playing. It's just stupid. It's like, when it comes to PoE, you can do whatever the hell you want, and I decided to spend a lot of currency to just make a garbage fire tank. So I hope you liked the character. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, support me on Patreon if you so desire. Anything is greatly appreciated as I do this full time. And of course, the pastebin for this character will be linked in the description below, as well as the forum guide. There is a forum guide that I will be working on updating. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and that'll be Demi out.